Welcome back to Nothing But Nets. It's good to be back. Got a good one for you today. We're going to get into the Nets summer signings. Obviously, there was a lot made about what the Nets did with the Bridges trade and the draft picks trades with the Rockets. But the Nets had some pretty good summer moves, which we need to get into. So we're going to break down the Nets summer signings. It was a busy summer. They've got pieces. We're going to see how they're going to fit, what we can expect from them. But before we do that, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Guys, please smash the like button below. Please smash the like button. Please follow and subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers before the start of the season. That's the goal. We got about a month till the season starts. I would love to get to 1,000 subs before the season starts. I want to get into. Oh, and also follow me on all forms of social media at 3D Boxing. I want to get into Amari Bailey, Jackie Sway, Tyrese Martin, Killian Hayes. I don't know who's going to make the team here. It's going to be an interesting offseason. I'm going to do a show hopefully on Bojan Bogdanovic, whether or not he makes the team. I mean, whether or not he's on the team, whether he's bought out or moved. I would look to move these guys. Now. I kind of want these players to develop. And Bogdanovic, I think, is not a bad piece to have on the team, but I would rather have one of these guys on the team playing minutes than have Bogdanovic, who's a better player, but 35 years old, doesn't fit the time frame, eating up the minutes. There's really, I like Bogdanovic. I'm rooting for him. I want the best for him. Hopefully he can go to a playoff team, something like that. But I want to see these guys on the court. I'm going to get to the one that I like the best in just a minute. But let's start off with Killian Hayes. Pure point guard, can't score a lick. No scoring game. I don't want to say he's not a good offensive player because he can create. The problem is he's so bad of a scorer that you don't really even have to guard him or contest him. It's as a comp for Condor Compazzo that used to play for the Denver, right? It was the same kind of thing. He could make people better. He could distribute. He could handle the ball. He could do things that you like. But he was such a bad scoring threat that you didn't have to contest him unless he was 5 feet from the basket. Killian Hayes has a little bit floater game. He's got a little float package, but they don't ever seem to go in. And that seems to be the problem. He's got moves. He can do things. The ball just doesn't go in the hole, which is a problem. I don't hate Killian Hayes. I think he can be a versatile defender. I think he can help you out defensively. And I think he can run. He could be a backup point guard in this league. Was he overdrafted? Of course he was overdrafted. Obviously he was overdrafted. But he's not a terrible player. He can do things. It's just, can he put the ball in the hole? And I think the Nets want to answer that with yes. I think the Nets want this guy on the team. But I can't give him minutes at the point over Keon Johnson. Keon Johnson is more athletic. He can play to one end of two. He obviously can defend. Right now, what Keon Johnson showed in the Summer League, he's a better player by far. I think the Nets want Killian Hayes to be the better player because what Killian Hayes offers as far as a distributor, the Nets don't really have. Now, you can either try to make Keon Johnson the distributor or have the distributor ready to go into Killian Hayes, but the problem is Killian Hayes is such a bad scorer. It's like you're playing 4 and 5 on offense because you don't have to contest him until he gets 5 feet from the basket. It's that bad of an offensive game with Killian Hayes. The next guy is Jackie Sway. He's going to be a fan favorite. Two-way deal. I think he's going to spend a lot of time in the preseason. He'll get some burn in the NBA, but he's going to be a two-way guy. Average 15 points a game in China on 46-36 shooting. He's a good corner three shooter. He's a very good corner three shooter. It's the rest of his three-point game I think is just kind of average. Not a great shooter coming off pin downs. He's not a great shooter coming off screens. Decent athlete, 6'9" wingspan. He can do a litany of things. Nothing spectacular. He rebounds well. He's all over the court. He's a hustle guy. He's more than just a 3-and-D guy. He can create his own shot. Like I said, he hustles all over the court. There are things that you would definitely like about him, for sure. A little bit of everything. This is a Marcus guy. This wasn't a guy that was just signed because he's Chinese and I think he can, and Psy, and I think he can sell his jersey. He can play a little bit. This is not a bad player. He's a hustler guy. He doesn't stand still. Hard worker on the court. Hard work on both ends. Good basketball body, pretty decent athlete, can shoot the corner three. He can shoot the three all over the place, but he particularly well at the corner three. Everywhere else in the court, he seems to be just more of an average three-point shooter, and that you would see that in his 46-36 shooting splits. That's got to get better. He's going to be shooting a lot of corner threes. You would hope their open shots is what he's taking. I want that percentage to obviously go up with the Nets in the NBA. The next guy is Tyrese Martin, another guy that kind of does a little bit of everything. Good finisher, can attack the hole, can create and shoot the three ball. Strong, mobile swingman, guard forward, good NBA body, a little bit of a post game. Again, good rebounder, good defender. He really developed his shot his last year at UConn. He's kicked around the NBA with Atlanta, G League. He's played a little bit. This is the guy I say he's got some upside, and I don't really know if he's an NBA player. He's got NBA athleticism. He's got decent size. He can shoot the three a little bit. Is that alone enough to get him into the NBA? The NBA is a tough league to crack, guys. If this was, 10, 15 years ago, he might be a starter in the NBA. The league is so good now. There's so many guys like him. He's a Marks type guy. Again, a little bit of everything. A little bit of post game, a little bit of defender, a little bit of rebounder. He can't handle the ball. That's his one fatal flaw is he can't dribble. He can't handle the rock. But there's other things that he can do. And there may be a spot for him in the NBA. I don't think it's going to be on the Nets. He can't handle the ball. There's no minutes for him, right? Because you're not going to play this guy minutes over Wofford. You're not going to play him minutes over Jalen Wilson. There's no minutes for him. I don't think there's a spot on the team. I don't think he's a terrible player. Like I said, he contributes a little bit. He can do a little bit of everything. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't see a role for him here. Now let's get to the guy that I like. The guy I think there's upside on. I'm not sure how he fits on this Nets roster. The Nets need to get this guy a spot. They need to get him on the floor. They need to see what he's got. Because Amari Bailey, and I'm going to keep calling him Amari Brooks, Amari Bailey is the guy that I like a lot. I think this is an NBA player. I think it's a solid NBA player. Problem is he's not a great shooter. He can shoot the corner three a little bit, but he's streaky. And he's downright poor in other areas as a three-point shooter. 6'4", he can play the 1 or the 2. He can handle the ball. He can distribute. He can finish. He is hyper athletic. He's got a mid-range game. He's a mid-range player. Cam Thomas, in essence, is a mid-range player. Dennis Schroeder's a mid-range player. So it's kind of redundant in what the Nets have. When he rebounds well from position, he's a hyper athlete who can defend. He can block shots, right? He can get up. I'm not saying he's anything like Dwayne Wade. I'm saying he can get up and block your shot like Dwayne Wade does, as a 6'3", 6'4" guard. I think he's listed him at 6'4", 190 pounds. Good build, good athletic build, hyper athletic. He can get up above the rim. Mid-range game, can create his own shot, can handle the ball, can distribute, can make others better. This is the guy here that I would really look at. Again, shooting is his downfall. He's not the worst shooter in the world, but he's not a guy you want shooting the ball. If I'm guarding him, I'm taking a step back. I'm letting him shoot, right? Because he can blow past you. He's a great finisher. He's great in transition. He's good in the half-court set in creating his own shot. Like I said, he can defend the 1 or the 2. He could probably defend the 3 too because he's physically strong and fast. I think this guy offers you a lot. I'm not sure if there's personal on the court issues. His mom might be a nut job. I'm not holding that against him. I'm not going to make this about his mom being an Instagram model who was connected to John Morant and Drake. I'm not trying to make this about that. It's obviously a part of the story. This guy's a threat in the half court. He can create his own shot. He can finish. He's a threat in the transition game. He can get ahead of you. He can blow past you. He can rebound. He does a lot. He can handle the ball. He can run the point. He can play off the ball. I'm not sure why Charlotte declined the option on why Charlotte didn't want to bring him back. He seems to be a good player for Charlotte. He seems to be a guy that could be in their rotation. I want to see this guy make the team, and I want to see him get minutes. Again, he's not a great fit with what the Nets have. But what the Nets have now is not what the Nets are going to have 2 years down the road. So just get the players that are good. He's a good player. If he doesn't fit, I don't care that he doesn't fit. That's not really significant to me. What is significant to me is that I think this guy can ball. And let's just see what he looks like. Let's get him in different sets. Let's have him run the 1. Let's have him run the 2. Let's have him on the court with Cam. Let's have him on the court when Cam comes off. Let's try different things and see what we have with this guy, because this is a guy with upside. The Nets are far too bad right now to start worrying about fit. Fit doesn't matter at all. Fit, the Nets are bad. Okay, you only worry about fit when you're good and you're ready to compete. The Nets aren't ready to compete, so just find good players. Let's find good players, weed out the good players and the bad players. I think this is the guy here that is the good player on this list. The other guys, I don't know if they have roles in the NBA. Jackie Sway might have a role in the NBA. He's the other guy I'd kind of look at as Killian Hayes. His floor is so fatal, I don't know if you can use him. Tyrese Martin, I don't know if he's an NBA player. He's a last guy on a roster type guy if he's on an NBA roster. I don't really see where you're going to use him, although he could be used in multiple things, right? Like, how many teams are going to use him? Bailey's the guy that you could use. Amari Bailey is the guy that you can find minutes for that can get himself onto the court and contribute. So that's the guy that I want to see. If I had to rank these guys, I would rank them Bailey 1, Sway 2, Killian Hayes 3, Tyrese 4. I think these are all good signings because I could see all of these guys, especially the guys besides Martin, having a role and getting minutes. And I think, back in the Kenny Atkinson era, you got guys like Joe Harris and Dinwiddie who became contributors, who were kind of castaways, right? I did that video, Misfit Island, the toy show Misfit Islands was kind of the Nets. I think if someone is going to become a contributor on this team, it's Bailey 1 and Sway 2. Those are the guys the Dinwiddie, Harris, that you can see them becoming contributors, becoming good, solid role players on good teams. So I think this is well done by Marks. If I'm grading Marks on this, I'm giving on these kind of shoestring budget moves. I'm giving, and again, I've been accused of being the I Hate Sean Marks podcast. I'm giving him a B+ on this. I think these are players, especially Bailey. I think this is a guy I want to see him on the roster. I think these are guys that could become contributing role players on playoff teams. So I'm giving him a B+. I want everyone to keep their eye on Bailey and Sway as well. The other two guys are a little, we've seen Killian Hayes for so long. We know what Killian Hayes is. Tyrese Martin we haven't seen since college. I think there's a reason for that. I don't think he's bad. I think there could be a roster in the NBA that he can make. I just don't know if it's going to be here. And I think moving Bogdanovic to open up another roster spot. Like, if you're telling me, Gary, we're going to have either Bailey in the rotation or Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic doesn't help me long term. Bailey does. I want to see Bailey. If that makes sense. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow 3D Boxing on all forms of social media. Appreciate it, guys. Nothing but Nets. Like, share, subscribe. It is September 24th, 2024. From Texas to the world. Thank you. and God bless.